wanted to ask her to marry me, but I didn't want to ask her like thousands of other men had. No, I don't mean that 1,000 other men ask her. Yeah, I wanted to be creative. I wanted to do it different than most men did when they asked their wives to marry them. So here's what I did. We went out on the next date, and she used to wear a little ring, a birthstone ring, and I took that ring off of her hand. And I whispered in her ear, someday I'm going to replace this with a diamond. And then I slipped it back on her hand. Well, she freaked out. She went, well, thinking maybe there was really a diamond there, but it wasn't. It was just her old ring. So the next time we went on a date, I took her ring off and I put my arms around her and I said, someday I'm going to replace this with a diamond. And I put it back on her finger and she looked. And I kept doing it over and over again. And well, after about 15 times, she stopped looking. You know, I would say, someday I'm going to replace this with a diamond. And you could see her going, oh, yeah, right. Then I was ready. I had a big surprise. I sold everything I had to buy her diamond. We traveled down to where my parents were. I was so excited. I showed everybody. I showed my father. Big mistake. I told my dad I was going to ask that girl to marry me tonight. And my father, who usually goes to bed at 8 o'clock every night, stayed up until about 1 in the morning. He kept coming into the room going, can I get you some orange juice, coffee, anything? So I took my dad in the kitchen and said, Daddy, go to bed, or I'm going to kill you right here. So my father went to bed, and I went into the kitchen and I got the ring and I put it in my pocket. And then I went into the living room and I sat down next to this lady that I loved so much. And I reached down and I grabbed her hand and I took her ring off. And I looked her right in the eye and I said, someday I'm going to replace this with a diamond. And there was this kind of glassy look in her eye. And I switched the rings in my hand and I stuck the diamond on her hand. Well, she didn't look. She knew there was nothing there. So we just kept talking for a while, and then she went into the kitchen to get some Coke for us. And from the kitchen I heard this scream. She came running into the living room and threw her arms around me, and we fell and broke a coffee table.